Hi guys, Always here back again for another video on the channel. And this one today then, we will be doing the current favourites to be promoted from the Championship. We're going to be looking at all 24 teams in the Championship this upcoming season and the current favourites to be promoted. Now we did a similar video last season comparing the odds and most of them were pretty spot on, to be fair to the bookies. Now some of these, I've got to be honest, some of these may be a little bit inaccurate. Of course, some teams have bigger media presence than others, but I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on these odds. So I'll be doing the least favourites, which will be obviously the highest odds, and then the most likeliest team to be promoted, which will have the lower odds. And of course, the higher the odds, the more money you potentially will earn. Obviously, I'm not advocating gambling. If you do want to have a gamble, do that responsibly and all that good stuff. But yeah, let's have a look who the favourites then to least get promoted and the highest chance of being promoted. So in 24th place, the team least likely to earn promotion to the Premier League this season is Oxford United at 40-1. Now, Gary Rowett's Oxford United, they predicted to go down last season. I actually predicted them to stay up, and they did. Obviously, it took them a little while to get going in the Championship. Obviously, Des McLaren got sacked, and Gary Rowett came in. He did a very good job stabilising Oxford at the end of the season. You know, keep them in the league. Of course, Oxford will probably be nowhere near the top of the league this year, but weirder things have happened at this level. 23rd, we have got Portsmouth, 25-1. Very, very surprising to me that Portsmouth are the second least likeliest team to earn promotion. Now, Portsmouth are a big club, one of the biggest clubs at this league, have got a lot of history, and of course, we're in an FA Cup final, just before 2010 or in 2010, one of the two, can't exactly remember, but you know, it's not too long ago where they were having European nights at Fratton Park as well. So yeah, there are a few teams on 25-1, but they are the least likeliest out the 25-1 to teams to get promoted. But yeah, Pompey, look, similar to Oxford United, both of those teams come up from 2 seasons ago, both survived last season. Pompey had a really good home record in the end of the John Mousinho. Again, haven't seen too much of their business, but you know, hopefully if Pompey can stay in this league for a little bit longer, then their odds may be a lot shorter and probably be more likely to be promoted. 22nd then, so the free relegation, essentially, the 3 teams who are least likeliest to go up. We have Preston, North End, also 25-1. Now, Preston last season had a very mid-table season until towards the end of the season where they nearly did go down. They had a bit of a relegation scare. Now, Preston have had some great players over the last few years. Their former fullback has actually just joined Real Madrid from Benfica, which is, you know, from a Preston point of view, fantastic. Their former goalkeeper, Freddie Woodman's also at Liverpool. So it just shows that Preston do have these players who are capable of these big moves in Premier League options as well. But unfortunately, Preston, you know, their budget does kind of halt them. Obviously, they don't earn the most money in the league. They don't earn the least money in the league. So it's kind of hard for Preston to really be up there. But, you know, they are pushing. And who knows, and the Paul Heckingbottom, who has been in the Premier League before, maybe he can get Preston up there this season. 21st, again, another team, 25-1. We got Charlton Athletic. Again, another manager who has been at Premier League level before. Nathan Jones obviously wasn't at Premier League level for very long. At Southampton, one of the shortest reigns in Premier League history. Didn't manage too many games, did a very poor job, but did manage to beat Pep Guardiola's Man City in the Carabao Cup, which will long live in Nathan Jones' memory. Now, Charlton main aim of the season will be to survive. Obviously, all 3 teams who came up last season or the season before did survive last season. That was Derby, Oxford and Portsmouth. All of those survived. So Charlton are actually the first team who have just been promoted, and they've got the least likeliest chance of all the promoted teams to go straight back up to do a back-to-back promotion. Now, Charlton, obviously, in terms of their location, it can help into the transfers. A lot of players like living in London. It's, you know, very easy to work around so many places to go in London. Obviously, it's the capital city of the United Kingdom and England, so, you know, there's so many places to do whatever you want within reason. But yeah, I think Charlton, hopefully they'll stay up because they're a great club. 20th then, Sheffield Wednesday, 25-1 as well. Very surprising how these are the highest 25-1s to actually gain promotion. Now, Sheffield Wednesday, we all know about Chansiri and the ongoing situation there. 2 of their better players from last season have already left on free transfers. The Gassama one's really unfortunate for them because he looked a really good, you know, breakthrough star coming through. Obviously, he's joined Rangers now. So, you know, Sheffield Wednesday, in terms of income, I don't think they've signed a single player. Players like Barry Bannon haven't been able to renew their contract, but is still currently training with the club I assume he will get a contract eventually. If they don't, then chance here, you better be careful in and around Sheffield, especially in the Sheffield Wednesday areas. But yeah, Sheffield Wednesday, look, again, like Pompey, huge club, but just really badly run at the moment. So again, I think their aim's just going to be survival this season. So into the teams, 19, we have Queen's Park Rangers, 20-1 to be promoted to the Premier League. Of course, have been in the Premier League not too long ago, but since they came back down, have just kind of been mid-table to lower relegation potential candidates from QPR. Now, they have got some very good players amongst their ranks. Steve Cook, very, very good centre-back indeed. They also got Jonathan Varane, had a very good season last year in his first season at championship level. And of course, arguably signed of the summer, Queen Parku from Peterborough United. Be very interesting to see how they do. Now, QPR the other day did lose 6-0 in a friendly against a team who were in the second tier of Spanish football, so slightly concerning, maybe. But look, it's pre-season, don't want to read too much into that. But QPR could be one of them potential underdogs this season. They do have a lot of quality in that team and a lot of young players still trying to break through as well. 18th now, Hull City, 14-1 to be promoted. Now, if Hull win under a transfer embargo, I think these odds would be a lot shorter. But obviously, with them not being able to sign a player for fees until of January 2027, it might be a little bit tough to be a Hull City fan at the moment. Now, they were going to get Louis Barry from Aston Villa. I think it was going to be a permanent transfer as well, around £3 million to £4 million. But unfortunately, with the transfer embargo, that deal fell through. They were in talks of Ollie McBurney as well. That's gone quiet. So, look, they were in talks with some brilliant players at this level, or potential to play at this level. Obviously, McBurney's done it before this level. Louis Barry, young star coming through, did very, very well at Stockport last season. But yeah, unfortunately, with this transfer embargo, I can't see Hull being anywhere near the promotion favourites. 17th for them, we've got Blackburn Rovers, who are also 14-1 to be promoted. Vladimir Ismail has had playoff experience before with Barnsley back in lockdown, where he did lose to my club Swansea City over 2 legs, 3-1 on aggregate. But yeah, since his Barnsley spell, has done very well in English football. His spell at West Brom was quite poor, but obviously at Blackburn he started off tremendously poor, didn't win his first 6 games, but after that did get a bit of decent form, and if results went their way on the final day, they could have gone to the playoffs, but unfortunately for them, they just couldn't get in on the final day. But yeah, Vladimir Ismail, be a tough job for him this summer. Obviously, they have lost a few players already, and the most notably being Tyrese Dolan, still yet to find a club, but I'm sure he'll be having a club very, very soon. There's a lot of clubs after him. But yeah, it's a big loss for Blackburn. But again, Blackburn, yeah, similar with Hull, really, not run very well, so I can't see them being anywhere near the promotion favourites. 16th now, Derby County, 12-1 to be promoted. Now, it's crazy how Derby are even in this list. If you look at Derby from, February, I think they were basically favourites to go down, one of the first favourites to go down. But John Eustace decided to go from Blackburn, a playoff contender, to Derby County relegation favourites. And what he did at Derby, simply sensational. But now, look, this summer he's mainly gone for a lot of experienced players, a lot of players who have played under him before. And I also have signed this player from the MLS. Can't remember his name, but that was for a big fee, about £5 million, I believe. But obviously, some of the MLS fans are quite salty about that one. But yeah, Derby, look, have got the potential to be a Premier League club again in the future. They just need a bit of stability at the moment. 15th now, we've got Watford, 10-1. Again, Watford's a weird one, man. You don't know if this manager will be in charge until this season. You just can't tell with Watford at the moment. But they have just signed this Scandinavian striker for a big sum of money as well. They've also rejected a bid from Burnley for their young attacking striker as well for £10 million. Scored 2 goals in 19 games, but he's only young, and he is a potential very good prospect for Watford. So Watford have got some very good players amongst their ranks. They've also got a very, very good goalkeeper. I think his name's Celtic. I think he joined in January, and he was very impressive as well. So Watford, again, like QPR, could see them as a potential underdog, but with Tom Cleverley not at the helm now, how the players will adapt to this manager, we'll have to wait and see. 14th now, we got Stoke City, who are also 10-1 favourites to be promoted back to the Premier League. Now, like I said in my last video, Stoke and Swansea, shake hands. We're always in the same league together. We're in the Premier League for a number of years together and in the Championship. And we just don't want to leave each other alone at the moment, especially with the business we've been doing. Josh Tyman, Sam Klukas, we've had players who played for both clubs as well. Ashley Williams, most notably as well. So yeah, pretty crazy, if I got to be honest. Ben Wilmot, how could I forget about him? South Wales Derby winner as well. But yeah, Stoke, again, gone for a lot of experience this summer. Aaron Cresswell from West Ham United, I think, is a sensible signing. Mark Robins, again, another manager who's got very good playoff experience, although his experience in the playoffs, bit of heartache, really, losing on the playoff final against Luton. Also, he did get to do another Wembley visit against Man United in the semi-finals, of course his former team as a player, and did lose that one on penalties as well. So you do feel like if Stoke do get to Wembley this season on penalties, you may as well switch off the TV, because it's written in the stars what's going to happen again. But look, I like Mark Robin. Stoke have struggled a lot. It's a bit of a shame, because Stoke are a big club and they probably do deserve to be in the Premier League. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do. But, you know, they could have one good season, surely. The unlucky 13th. Who would it be apart from Swansea City? We are 10-1 favourites to be promoted. Essentially predicted to be mid-table in terms of these promotion odds. Now, I can understand why the bookies have done that. Obviously, since we were last in the playoffs, where we lost to Brentford, we haven't really been nowhere near the playoffs since then. A couple of low mid-table finishes, and last season we finished dead on mid-table. So yeah, look, under Alan Sheehan, it's a bit of an unknown prospect. Hasn't got many managerial appearances. He's only got a few, which was a caretaker thing, apart from being a set-piece coach, an assistant manager. So yeah, it'll be interesting how he adapts to Swansea. But look, on the basis of what we saw last season, he's a manager who can adapt to different games, doesn't mind changing the system up, doesn't matter about his negative football, or if you play positive football, the only thing which matters in days results. And you know, we saw that under Steve Cooper, and people still moaned about that. So we'll wait and see how it goes. Obviously, I wasn't his number one fan to take charge of Swansea, but I can understand why he did get the job. But yeah, look, our business have been very good this summer. Still a lot of players who need to, you know, leave or find loans elsewhere for game time. Still a bit of, you know, paying a bit too many wages in that aspects, but we still need a bit of business to come in as well. But overall, I think 13th, slightly harsh, but I can understand it with some of the other teams more likely than us to be promoted. So 12th then, we're halfway through now. We've got Millwall, who are also 10-1 to be promoted. Again, Alex Neil, a manager who has been in the Premier League before with Norwich City. A lot of these managers have had Premier League experience, which is why the Championship is such a tough league now, because a lot of these managers are tactically up there because they've been in the Premier League before. So yeah, Millwall have got a great coach, Alex Neil. Like I said last season, some of the Blackburn, if results went their way, they could have gone to the playoffs in the last day of the season, and unfortunately the fixtures which went against their way, and of course going away to Burnley, final game of the season where they could lift the title potentially, obviously didn't. You know, it was very unlucky at the end of the day. Now, Ivanovic, that striker, has been linked with a move away, but he's been brilliant since he's come into the Millwall team. They have also bought Josh Colburn from Middlesbrough, breaking their club record transfer fee over £5 million for him. Not sure about that transfer at all. I do worry about Millwall slightly in terms of the fact that, you know, if you do stop their attacking threat from set pieces and, you know, their danger focal points from set pieces, you know, I do worry about them, where the goals are going to come from. But I'm sure Alex Neil will be able to counter my worries. 11th then, so we're under the 10-1 odds now. We've got Bristol City, who are 8-1 favourites. Now, I'm very surprised Bristol City are this high up. Obviously, last season, getting into the playoffs was a fantastic experience for them, but as someone did point out to me, they did lose 6-0 in the playoffs, or 7-0. Couldn't remember that, but it's still 6-0 is pretty poor. But yeah, it was a great experience for Bristol City, but obviously it was a short-lived one, obviously getting a red card inside, 25 minutes. It was going to be a long day at the office. Obviously, their manager has jumped ship to go to Norwich. Again, Norwich are a lot higher than Bristol City in this list. And that's probably due to the fact that Liam Manning is a very well thought of manager, if I can get my words out, at this level. Now, Bristol City have lost Nahki Wells. Bit of a shame for them. You know, he is getting on, but now I think he's 35 years of age, but got over 10 goals last season, double figures for him. Obviously lost Tommy Conway the season before that, which again was a big blow. They do still have some very good players coming through Bristol City. I just do worry about the goalkeeper, Max O'Leary. I think he's got a mistake in him. I don't think he's someone who can get you promoted. I think he's a decent championship stopper, but if you do want to make that step forward, I feel like you've got to improve in that area. But yeah, Bristol City in 11th. Into the top 10 then, we've got West Brom, who are 6-1 favourites to be promoted. Now, Ryan Mason's West Brom, his first managerial job as a professional manager. Obviously, has been a coach for a long, long time since his awful head injury when he was playing at Hull, and obviously had to retire due to that awful head collision with Gary Cahill. But yeah, look, West Brom have got some very good players amongst their ranks, a lot of experience in that team, and the Hawthorns can be a hard place to go when their fans are on top on their day. But yeah, West Brom, most recently in the Premier League within the last 5 years, are in when Sam Allardyce was their manager in the Prem, and they somehow went to Stamford Bridge and scored 4 goals in the season they went down. I think they beat Wolves away as well. I think they scored 5 in that one, was it? Oh, I might be thinking of another game. But yeah, West Brom, look, yeah, from my experience of, you know, being a fan of football, West Brom have always been in the Prem essentially since I was growing up. So it's a bit of a shame to see them down here with Swansea and Stoke, because I remember the times we were all in the Premier League together. But I think West Brom have got a very good chance of being promoted this year. So being 10th is surprising. 9th on the list. You knew it was going to happen, didn't you? Wrexham are 9th favourites to be promoted out of all 24 teams at this current moment. They are 11-2 to be promoted. Now, you're going to think I'm sound salty. I just don't understand, right? You look at their business. This video has been recorded on the Wednesday. Now, as this current moment, they've signed 2 players. Danny Ward, as a Welshman, championship level, he'll be okay. But he's got a hell of a mistake in him. But I think he'll do okay. And then Ryan Hardy from Plymouth. That's all they've signed. Phil Parkinson has got a very poor record at championship level. He's not managed at this level for a long, long time. So I do worry about Wrexham in terms of that aspect. Now, if this was a relegation video, I'd go a bit more in depth on that. But to be promoted, they're going to be nowhere near promotion for me. I don't think they'll finish top half. I think they're going to be looking towards low mid-tier. Look, if Wrexham survive the season, it's a success for them. We've got to remember where they've come from. A lot of these players they've got are a lot of veterans at this level. You've got loads of championship experience. James McLean, for example, Jay Rodriguez, a lot of championship players. But they're past their sell-by date now. And we saw that a couple of years ago with other cases in the championship as well. So yeah, I think Wrexham, if they survive, it's a good season, but talks of being this higher promotion is just silly for me. So in 8th place, Norwich City are 11-2, so the same odds for them as Wrexham to be promoted. I don't know how people bet. That's coming from a former betting man. But yeah, Norwich 11-2. Now, Norwich's business this summer has been simply ridiculous. New keeper brought in for Angus Gunn as a replacement, looks solid. Harry Darling, we all know, very good championship centre-back. Obviously, Bohas Sainz has left for around about £15 million to Porto. Obviously, that's a loss, but they have brought in, again, similar to Watford, a Scandinavian striker who's got a lot of goals last season. So, yeah, Norwich is strengthening in the right areas. Have got very good experience as well, who have played in the Premier League. A lot of players like Josh Sargent, Shane Duffy have played in the Premier League as well. And of course, Liam Manning, most notably, was in the playoffs last summer. So, yeah, Norwich, I think, will be strong this season. Again, a team who I've always known as a Premier League club from, you know, my young age at the moment, which I know I don't look at. But yeah, Norwich, again, because it's so far from everywhere, essentially, it could be a fortress. And I think, you know, if things go well there, I think Norwich could be well up there. 7th then, so just missing out on the top 6. It's a surprising one. They got Leicester. Now, Leicester are currently 7th favourites to be promoted from the Championship, 9-2. Now, Leicester have officially announced their new manager, Marty Cifuentes, former Queen's Park Rangers manager. I like this appointment. Plays nice football, very adaptable as well, can play a few different styles. And obviously at QPR, he's a little bit restricted because some of their injuries they had last season were ridiculous, and they were playing like 18-year-olds up front. And, you know, and obviously at the end of the day, the way he left QPR was left a bit of a sour taste in their mouth. But look, at Leicester, I think they're same favourites because they are going to get a points deduction. How many points, we don't know. I think the rumoured points deduction I saw earlier was 6 points, which for Leicester, it'll be a piece of piss, essentially. Apologies for the language. They'll easily get those 6 points back in August with the squad they're going to be able to have. Now, since their transfer business not done too much activity, obviously we're waiting for the appointment of Cifuentes to get his style of players in. In terms of outgoings, there's still a few players who need to leave that club. For example, Ndidi, Vote Fast potentially as well. They're going to be on a Premier League wage. But look, Leicester will have one of the best squads in the league by the end of the window. I assume they've got some very good players in there. You know, Hermansen, if he stays best keeper in the league already if he stays. But again, you know, the annoying thing to me is that the window is open until September the 2nd or late August, early September. So even if Leicester have a bad start, players will still be wanting to go to Leicester because of their Premier League experience. So to see them the lowest out of the 9-2 odds is a big surprise for me. So in 6th then, we've got Middlesbrough. 9-2 odds to be promoted above Leicester, surprisingly, according to these booking sites. Now, Middlesbrough, Rob Edwards was a Premier League manager. They had some decent results, but overall Luke Dunn weren't good enough to stay in the Premier League, and last season they weren't good enough to stay in the Championship, and Rob Edwards was the majority at fault for that because he managed them for over half a season, got them in the position they were, and unfortunately Matt Bloomfield came in a bit too late. Did pick up a bit of form, but that sacking for Rob Edwards should have happened a lot sooner than what happened. So yeah, Middlesbrough, like I said, had some weird signings last season. They signed like Kelechi Iheanacho, Illing Jr., players who used to play for Juventus, Manchester City. Don't know what sort of wages Iheanacho would have been on, but he just didn't look fit for some of the games for Middlesbrough. But yeah, Middlesbrough, look, again, a team who have been in the Premier League last 10 years, have got a very good fan base. Must be annoying for them. Their two North East closest teams are both back in the Premier League. Newcastle were Championship a couple of years ago, Sunderland are back in the Premier League now, and Middlesbrough just kind of stranded in the Championship. Since they come down, haven't really threatened to get back in the Premier League. Had, you know, flirtatious attempts at the playoffs, but yeah, it hasn't really worked out for them. But could Rob Edwards be the man to get Borough back to the Premier League? Into the 5th now, Coventry, 9-2 to be promoted to the Premier League. Now, Coventry over the last couple of years, must be a hard time to support Coventry. The amount of heartbreak you guys have had is just ridiculous. And a couple of playoff failed campaigns, now a playoff final loss to Luton, like I mentioned earlier, an FA Cup semi-final loss to Man United. The way you lost, but the way you came back was inspirational. And obviously last season, the last minute of extra time to send you guys out ahead of a penalty shootout, which we probably all know which would have ended the way you guys had penalties. But yeah, Frank Lampard did a very good job taking over from Mark Robbins. Obviously, Robbins, I can understand why they got rid of him. Obviously, harsh with the job he's done, but sometimes you just need a new man because things come stale. There's no denying what sort of job Mark Robbins did at Coventry. It was an excellent job. But yeah, Frank Lampard then obviously has got playoff experience, like I said, with Coventry and Derby, where they did lose in the playoff final against Aston Villa. But yeah, I think Coventry will do all right this season. They've got some very good depth in that right-back position. Keane Kessler-Hayden and Van Erwijk. The goalkeeper department is something I worry about. The two keepers they currently got, not very good. Obviously, the main keeper, Darwin, is out until December after he had that really bad injury in Sheffield United in the league campaign. But yeah, Sims obviously wasn't very good last season, but the season before that was scoring goals for fun. Sima Hadji Wright had his injury problems last season, but when Hadji Wright's on form, man, he's a hell of a player. And obviously they got Matt Grimes and also Ben Sheaf, some very good players. Evans, Mason Clark on the wing as well, hell of a player. So yeah, Coventry will be well up there for me. In 4th position, we have a team who have just come up from League One. Birmingham City are 2-1 favourites to be promoted to the Premier League, to do an Ipswich, a back-to-back-to-back. But yeah, back-to-back, not back-to-back-to-back. That's something Wrexham would do. Who knows, they could do it this season. But yeah, Birmingham, look, their summer's really starting to get going now for Ihashi. Very good signing. His numbers in Scotland for Celtic were incredible. Beadle, under-21s winner with England Euros, you know, can't fault that. Obviously has got 2 prior seasons at this level with Sheffield Wednesday. They've got players like Ethan Laird, former Manchester United Academy product, Bielik, former Arsenal Academy product, both of those experienced at this level. Lee Buchanan with Derby. They've got some very good players, man. And yeah, it could be worrying if Birmingham do click. It's worrying times, and obviously Stansfield's still young as well. He's scored a number of goals. Lyndon Dykes has played at this level before. So a lot of these players who are coming back into the Championship have played here before. And, you know, the only thing I do worry about Birmingham is probably Craig Davis, you know, not coached at this level before. Obviously did very well last season, but Championship to League One, bit of a jump. But obviously he has been in football a long, long time. So, yeah, Birmingham will be up there this season. Will they get over the line? That is the big question. So in 3rd place, just missing out on the 2 favourites, the 2 teams who are going to get automatically promoted according to the betting odds. We have got Sheffield United 2-1 favourites to be promoted to the Premier League. Now, Ruben Selles, former Reading manager, former Southampton caretaker manager, is the man Sheffield United believe can take them back to the Premier League now. Very heartbreaking for Sheffield United, the way they lost last season. You know, they were dominating that playoff campaign for the majority of the game. Sunderland got the equaliser, and it turned all Sunderland's way. And the way Sunderland won it, the player who scored, Boyd, Sunderland fan, his last ever goal for Sunderland in the playoff final. He goes to Brighton, he sends his Boyd club to the Premier League. Fantastic story for them. But yeah, Sheffield United, look, obviously last season had that, 2 points deduction at the start of the season, which in the end didn't really make a difference because it couldn't have caught Leeds or Burnley up with those 2 points. But yeah, Chris Wilde, I thought, did a very good job. You know, his style of play wasn't great on the eye, but got results at the end of the day. But unfortunately, they just kind of ran out of steam towards the end. You know, those 3 losses in a row towards the end of the season killed them. But yeah, Ruben Sellés, young manager, coming in to a job now. He's got big expectations. He came in at Hull. His only job was to survive, where he had a very good group of players on paper. Sheffield United, there's a lot of pressure. You know, Sheffield United fans, you know, as long as you beat Sheffield Wednesday, they'll be happy with that. So he's got to look at the derby as well as being promoted. So it's a tough job for Sellés, and I'm not sure if he's the right man to take them back up. Into the top 2 now, no surprises here. Second favourites to be promoted, according to the bookies, are Southampton, 7-4 to be promoted. Now, they probably would be favourites, I reckon, if Martin was still here. Obviously, Martin did take them up last time. But yeah, their Premier League campaign last year was simply ridiculous in terms of it being ridiculously shocking. The signings they made were very poor indeed. But yeah, Southampton, look, again, their squad's going to be very good at this level. Regardless what happens to them in the early stages of the season, you'll think you got January window as well to strengthen. Yeah, Southampton, I can see them going straight up, no worries about that. Then top then, the favourites to be promoted from the Championship is Kieran McKenna's Ipswich Town, 11-8 to be promoted. So it's pointless even putting a tenner on it, as you're not going to get much money back for that. So Ipswich are heavy favourites. I think it's, as someone an Ipswich fan commented the other day on my video, it's not like the Luton situation. Like I kind of compared it. I didn't mean to compare the players. The Ipswich have got a way younger squad than that Luton team. They got some very good players. Amari Hutchinson potentially going to Brentford. That move is potentially broken down, but you would think Hutchinson is a player to leave. They got money in for Delap. Sam Morsey is potentially on his way out, which I think is a little bit of a big loss of his leadership. But again, with his age now, 33, you can replace him with someone a little bit younger. But yeah, defensively, man, their options are ridiculous in defence. They got Leif Davis. They've just brought in Cedric Keeper on a season-long loan from France. He's ridiculous at this level. We saw that at Cardiff. He was so good for them. They've got Jacob Greaves, who was one of the best players in the Championship when he was at Hull. There's so many other players I forgot to mention. Obviously, they've lost Twan Zabi as well. But yeah, Ipswich, I can see why they're heavy favourites. I think they'll probably go back up potentially. I don't think they're not the favourites for me to win the league though. But yeah, look, their squad's ridiculous and they've got a lot of money to spend. And of course, they've probably got the best manager in the league as well. So thanks guys for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the bookies' favourites to be promoted. So the 3 favourites for the bookies are Ipswich, Southampton and Sheffield United. And the 3 teams least likely to do a Leicester back in 2016 and win the league / be promoted from the Championship is Preston, Portsmouth and Portsmouth United, man. They're 15-1 odds off what 23rd are. So Oxford, definitely not going to go up to the bookies, but who knows? We've seen weirder things happen. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. There will be a relegation favourites video out very soon as well, where we turn the tables over and we look at the relegation favourites and the promotion favourites. But yeah, if you did enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you all in the next one.